At a designer catwalk show, shots were fired at Benny Choi, and everyone is running for their lives. Maze interrupts Lucifer's fun time because he can get wounded, so she makes him leave. Mrs. Cortez's daughter was found dead at the show from being trampled over. The next day, Miss Cortez is at the police station IDing her daughter, and Chloe promises to find the suspect. Lucifer is at the police station talking with Lieutenant Olivia about wanting in on the case because he is excited about his mortality and to find the suspect. Lucifer offers to get Olivia to become chief of police, but in return he gets to help with the current and the future investigations. She lets Lucifer on this case, and Chloe wants to save something, but Lucifer is messing around with another police officer. Chloe asks Lucifer how he got on the case, and he tells her about the bargain, also to know what other mortalities he has. They go to Lucifer's place to meet Benny because Lucifer helped Benny to get his first show. Chloe asks if Benny knows who shot him, but he doesn't know. Even if he did know, he wouldn't have snitched. Then Lucifer called in his favor. So Benny tells them that Hector got into some conflict with the Latin King's colors that night. The gang wanted in, but Hector didn't let him in, so they were upset. Benny was part of the Asian boys at a low level, but got out in time. Chloe asked for names, so Hector gave up Diego and Danny from the Latin Kings gang. Benny warns them before leaving that the Latin Kings are going to raise hell. Lucifer gets Chloe to go drinking with him, but she is hated at the bar. Anthony Palucci insults Chloe because they think Chloe is a snitch. Lucifer stands up for Chloe and sucker punches him, then they leave. Maze wants to go back to hell, so she tells Amenadiel that Lucifer has been talking to Linda. Amenadiel introduces himself to Linda to invite her out to talk about Patience's problems. So they talk about Lucifer, and Amenadiel gets Linda to help him. Dan warns Lucifer about a possible gang war and to protect Chloe, due to Lucifer having rash decisions all the time. Chloe locks Lucifer in her car to investigate Diego and Danny. Chloe hears Danny screaming, so she breaks in to find Lucifer already inside. Diego tells them that they wanted to get in the show because Paula wanted to become a designer, so they gave their only spot to Paula. Chloe asks Diego for info, and he tells them that Yellow Viper might have beef with Benny because Viper rolled with Benny before. Recently, Viper got out after taking the fall for Benny, and now Benny is rich, so he might be doing this for revenge. Benny messages Chloe that someone else is dead, so they go there to find his pig was shot. Benny had no idea that Viper was out, but he did try to help Viper, so Chloe tracks Viper down. Viper is teaching people how to tag and sees Chloe. Viper confronts them, but due to not having a warrant, Viper doesn't talk. Then Diego shows up with his gang ready to kill Viper, but Lucifer signals to Chloe to get Viper to leave with the students. The lights go out and Maze takes out the gang members one by one. Chloe knocks out Danny and they all get arrested. Dan shows Chloe Viper's gun, and it was the same caliber that was shot at the show. At the card ride back, Lucifer asks Viper what he wants, and Viper just wants to focus on his art. If Viper wanted Benny dead, he wouldn't have missed, so they think the shooting was staged. So Lucifer confronts Benny on it, and then they bring in Viper to confront Benny for framing him once again. Chloe found out that Hector is a pro sniper, so Hector snitched on Benny for ordering him to shoot up the show. Chloe arrested Hector, and then Benny shoves Viper, so Lucifer stops him to show him his true face to Benny, scaring the crap out of him. Chloe agrees to being partners with Lucifer and then leaves Lucifer. Next evening, a forklift driver takes out a security guard and continues to steal the container. Chloe and Lucifer were called to the crime scene of Aaron Scoville, and Lucifer passes on this case because it's not exciting. So Lucifer leaves, but when he gets back to the bar, Maze tells Lucifer his container is missing, but he doesn't care. So Maze makes him care about his reputation, and he goes back to investigate the case. Chloe asks what was inside the container, but Lucifer dodges the question and wants to find the suspect with his lead. They visit Frank, who deals in transportation and storing illegal goods, to question him on who took the container. Frank tells them it might be the Los Diablos biker gang. Chloe asks Lucifer what's in the container, and he tells her it was something God gave him. So Chloe kicks Lucifer off the case for not being honest. Then Chloe calls Dan to find out what the container holds. Dan goes to Lux to see the books, but Maze knocks him out. When he wakes up, he's at Chloe's place naked. Trixie finds Dan in her room, so she bargains with him to sneak him out. Then Dan goes back to confront Maze for the assault and leaves because he's too embarrassed to do anything about it. Lucifer talks about his feelings with Linda, but he feels like he's being attacked, so he leaves. Amenadiel shows up shortly afterwards to offer Linda some help, if needed. Dan tells Chloe the books are clean and hangs up on Dan for Taco Tuesday. Lucifer follows Chloe to the biker's hideout and apologizes to her for acting out. So Chloe shows Lucifer the Iron Cross imprint on Erwin's body, and Lucifer points out a similar imprint on the bike. Lucifer turns off the music and announces someone here took his things, so he is here to find out who did it. Rennie stands up to Lucifer ready to attack, but Chloe apprehends him. The boss, Hank Cutter, shows up to tell Rennie to get some air and for them to have a chat in his office. Lucifer asks Hank what he wants, and he wants to own a clothing line because he is getting too old and wants to go legit. Then Chloe shows Hank the imprint, but Hank assures them that no one there deals with the docs anymore. Lucifer wants to ask more questions, but Chloe backs off and leaves because Hank doesn't want to talk. Chloe thinks that Hank knows who did it and would want to deal with that person. They spot Hank on the phone and then riding off, so they follow him. Hank goes to an abandoned building, and Chloe and Lucifer are spying on him. While in the car, Chloe admits that she really likes working with Lucifer, but can't because she suspects Lucifer to be a criminal, and Lucifer promises that he never lied to Chloe. Rennie shows up and Hank confronts him about the stolen container. Then Rennie shoots Hank and rides off. Chloe calls it in, then goes checks up on Hank, and Lucifer chases after Rennie. Chloe tracks a car and goes there. Meanwhile, Lucifer chases Rennie, but Rennie sets up to shoot Lucifer. He walks in, forgetting about his mortality, then takes cover until Rennie runs out of ammo and jams his gun. Lucifer chases after Rennie while Rennie is running away and gets trapped on the rooftop. Rennie tells Lucifer someone ordered him to take the container, and Lucifer shows his devil eyes, then his face. So Rennie jumps off, ending himself. They find out that Rennie was displeased with Hank's direction with the gang, so that's why Rennie did his own thing, and they also find Lucifer's missing container. They check what's inside to find dolls, and Chloe walks off, but there's a secret compartment. Inside was empty, so Lucifer was pissed about someone stealing his wings. Maze baits Sergei Bach, a smuggler, to have some fun alone, but her real intentions was to apprehend Sergei to ask him where Lucifer's wings are at. Maze wants to torture him some more like the others, but Lucifer doesn't think this method is working, so he gets Chloe to help. Back at the precinct, Chloe is investigating Malcolm for being corrupt, who is in a coma, and his wife wants to pull the plug. Dan wants Chloe to close the case so everyone won't hate her, and gives her 24 hours to solve it or quit for the family's sake. Lucifer goes to Chloe to help him find his wings, but Chloe is busy dealing with Malcolm's case. Chloe was about to kick Lucifer out, but he feels like Chloe is in distress about something, and she tells him about the case. She doesn't want to give up on the case, so Lucifer tells her not to. Then he asks, when her cases hit the wall, what do you do? Once she gives Lucifer an idea, man ditches her to ask Amenadiel to help him get his wings back. Amenadiel freaks out because he has to patrol the gates of hell. Also, those wings are way too powerful, and if they fall into the wrong hands, shit's gonna go south. Amenadiel roasted Lucifer for quitting hell, so he might as well fix his own problems. So Lucifer goes back to Chloe for help and finally tells her what was inside the container. Chloe laughs at Lucifer and doesn't believe him whatsoever. Chloe agreed to help Lucifer, and Lucifer will help Chloe's case with Dan, because Dan got recruited after Lucifer ditched her. Chloe goes back to the crime scene to reenact the shooting to figure out what she missed. Chloe tells him that she saw Malcolm counting money from Nicholas Audi, a drug trafficker, and his bodyguard with them. She leaned in too much, causing Malcolm to notice her, and then shots were fired when she tried to hide away. Chloe found 2 of them dead and Malcolm bleeding out. Lucifer doesn't understand because Nicholas had no motives to kill Malcolm if Malcolm was corrupt and on his payroll. Dan gets a call for angel wings, and Lucifer is delighted by the info, so they head that way. FBI agent Pats tells them that the angel wings are being auctioned off, but before that, the FBI is going to raid the place, and if Lucifer wants his wings back, he needs to prove it's his. Lucifer goes to the auction, but along the way he spots Amenadiel, and they go and get the wings back. They are stopped from going into the auction till Lucifer brings out a coin and they are let in to be examined, but the coin is not for sale. Lucifer wants to get his wings back, but Amenadiel doesn't know about Lucifer losing his powers, so he threatens Carmen, the boss, to take the wings by force. Luckily, Lucifer calmed them down and offered to buy it like everyone else. They show Lucifer's wings and the FBI starts their raid, but Carmen escapes through a hidden doorway. Lucifer asks Amenadiel to slow time down so he can get his wings, but when Lucifer touched the wings, he knew it was fake. Chloe asks Lucifer to help her back, and he is just pissed that someone still has his wings. So he doesn't help Chloe and goes to do the devil's work. Chloe and Dan goes back to the site to see if there's any hidden doorways. They find the hidden doorway and find out that another cop was there. Lucifer goes to Carmen's place to confront him, and he finds his wings mounted on display. He asked Carmen who tipped him off and found out it was Amenadiel who was trying to get him to go back to hell. So Lucifer lights his wings on fire in front of Amenadiel to make a statement.
I'm never going back to hell.
Amenadiel loses it and attacks Lucifer till he stops because he can't finish the job. Chloe closes Malcolm's case and apologizes to everyone, but secretly is investigating the corrupt officer. They shut off Malcolm's life support, but Amenadiel saves him. The next day, we find Dr. Bernie Shaw dead, which seems like a crime of passion. Dr. Shaw encourages couples to cheat to save their marriages, so they think it's an angry failure that wants revenge. So Lucifer gets Linda to oversee Dr. Shaw's cases. Linda found a case where Richard Kessler was brought by his wife to save their marriage, but she had an affair, leading to their divorce. And then Richard sends death threats to Dr. Shaw. Also, Richard is the only one that showed anger towards Dr. Shaw. Linda calls Chloe to say that Richard is unstable, and when they get there, Lucifer is with Richard, who is ready to jump. Lucifer asks for Richard's help to understand jealousy and accuse Richard of being the killer, but Richard denies the allegation because after sending the threats, Dr. Shaw was giving Richard some free sessions, even though he knew Richard couldn't pay for it. After that, Richard gives up on self-deletion and thinks the worst is behind him. Richard was cleared, but Sandy, Dr. Shaw's wife, became a suspect because she was back in town when the murder happened. So they think Sandy found out that Dr. Shaw was also cheating, that's why she took his life. Malcolm calls Chloe to meet at her house and warns her not to look further into the case because whoever is behind Malcolm's shooting, they are not afraid to gun down another officer. They go to question Sandy and she tells them that she got horse doo-doo to throw at Tiffany because she was the affair partner. Lucifer doesn't like how Linda isn't on his side, so he joins the group therapy instead. Jonathan isn't pleased with Lucifer talking about himself, so Lucifer asked him,
What makes you jealous? What do you desire that you can't have?
and he exposes himself wanting Sandy. Once exposed, Jonathan threatened Lucifer with a knife. Then Lucifer realized that they are nothing alike, so Jonathan stabs him. Luckily, Chloe saved Lucifer before he can deal the finishing blow. The police take Jonathan away and Lucifer figures out a suspect because Chloe hacked Tony Palucci's GPS device to get Malcolm's location, so she thinks it might be Tony. They track Tony at the bar and they find him dead and a note that says he's sorry for Malcolm's shooting. We find out the true shooter is Dan, who gunned down Malcolm, and Malcolm is going to blackmail Dan for something big. Well, that's it for part 2. If you want part 3, click down here when it comes out. And if it's not out yet, here are some other recaps up there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.